Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Today is August 11th, although you're not going to see this show until August 18th. Don't ask any questions. But guys, I got some really good news. In Brookfield so far, Solarize Brookfield, they've had 12 homes that they've signed up as as complete. Now, let me rephrase that. 12 homes have agreed to go ahead with the process. But more importantly, so far, they've had to, since they've started Solarize Brookfield, Ross Solar has had to add 6 employees since they started. They just hired 2 more salesmen, but as a matter of fact, John, the director on this show, is one of those people that got a job. Guys, I said, go down to Ross Solar, and he went down there. And guess what? He starts next week. So he's going to make a lot more money than he's making right now. As a matter of fact, there's a new chart on the internet. It's an MIT chart. It's a living wage chart. If you want to look it up, Google MIT living wage. And the living wage for the Danbury area is $12.20 an hour for a single adult. Well, John's going to be making a lot more than that. So he's going to be getting paid a living wage with benefits, with a 401k. I don't know what they match yet. I'll look into that. And guys, in 20 to 30 years, if he keeps his nose clean, invests in his future, he can retire with dignity. And, so let a word to the wise be sufficient. But don't run down to Ross Solar, all right? Email, they have a thing online, email them your resume, because we can't have a bunch of people running down there. Oh, and they're also looking for a customer service rep. So if you know somebody that can take care of that, email your resume in. All right, now, John, I just want to say to everybody, John, I'm so proud of you. And John, guys, when we started the show, John stepped up to the plate. He's been here every day. He's done a terrific job. He's going to be an asset to the corporation. And Stefan, who spoke very highly of John, he said that his webpage needed to be updated. So John's helped me with my webpage, and I said, John, you never know. This might come back to benefit you one day, and it might. It might. But John, the best of luck, kid. Knock 'em dead. And tonight, on tonight's show, guys, we're going to show you all about installing solar. And guys, we're going to try to show you everything, the good and the bad. The days that you're going to be out there freezing on a roof, and the days you're going to have to shovel snow off before you can work, or the days it's going to be so hot that you're going to think it's unbearable. And there's going to be the days when you're going to be out there working, when you're going to say, I can't believe that I get paid to do this. I mean, there are days when all the pieces will fit, and you're going to say, boy, this is, this is something. So tonight's show, we're going to start with installation in Germany. And the reason why, I just want to show you how because if you're faint of heart or whatever, this might not be the job for you. So we're going to start with Germany, and then we're going to show you what they're doing in England. And then we're going to go to the country in North Carolina. No, we're going to go to North Carolina. Guys, even the South is starting to understand solar, so maybe we can consider them part of the country again. You know, oops. All right, anyway. And then we're going to go to Colorado, and when you see the Solar Energy Institute in Colorado, it's going to blow you away. I tell you, it's the place where you want to go away for a week to learn about solar energy. And they have these kind of courses. And guys, you know, during the clips, if you want to take notes, you can email all this stuff, you know, and you can find out more. And then we want to show you, you know, that not only is solar good for hardworking guys, but there's plenty of opportunities. There's plenty of opportunities for William. I mean, for women. William, thanks for returning my call. I'm in the middle of taping a show. Everybody, this is the guy that works on our computer system for us. William, I love you, kid. I gotta go, though. All right, no kidding, that was William. I only called him this afternoon. Usually it takes him a couple of days to call me back. All right, so we're going to show you about women and women working in solar. And I'm not talking about answering the phone. I'm talking about getting up on the roofs with the screw guns and putting up the racks. And hey, why not? Why not? Girls, you know, really, you want to make, you know, we talk about equal pay. Hey, a living wage plus, and think about the beautiful suntan you'll have all year long. You know what I mean? No charge. All right, and then guys, then it comes time in the show where we turn pages and we start with John Lennon. And tonight we're going to talk about tax inversion. And guys, when you see, we're going to start off with a clip from Jon Stewart. And when you see what these corporations are trying to do to screw the average American out of their just desserts for what these companies should be paying in tax, I tell you, you're not going to be happy campers. And now we're going to show you Charles Payne, someone who thinks that maximizing profits is more important than taking care of middle-class people. We're going to show him. And then we're going to show you Elizabeth Warren. And we're going to show you what Elizabeth Warren has to say about tax inversion. And after you hear what she has to say, you're not going to be a happy camper. Well, you guys, we got to stop these corporations. It's gotten to the point where they're crazy. I mean, anything, it's worse than anything for a buck. It reminds me of that old Disney movie, you know? Remember Disney came out with that rated X movie? Bambi does anything for a buck? Sorry. All right, and then we're going to cap off the night with Bill O'Reilly, and Bill O'Reilly's going to prove that Fox isn't fair and balanced. And if we have time, we're going to show you that sometimes Fox News does the right thing. We're going to show you that they put on Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. So let's go back to the beginning, and the first clip we're going to show you is done in Germany. And the one thing I want to, you know, guys, we keep talking about working in, you know, in solar, and you're going to be climbing around on these roofs. So let's look at the worst case scenario first, so that this way, if you get the jitters from this, maybe you want to do something else, you know? John, hit it.
Today we will show how a solar-powered system is installed on a house roof in Germany. Here, just 2 months after the specialist consultation, installation work can begin.
Naturally, the installation includes the outdoor photovoltaic modules from Sharp. Then comes an inverter, which feeds the electricity into the grid so that the utility company can receive it.
The system we are building here has 3.24 kilowatts and comprises 18 modules.
The work takes about 2 days. First, the roof is measured, and then the roof hooks are attached. Later, these support the framing system into which the solar power modules are subsequently fitted. The horizontal sections are installed first, followed by the vertical sections. Finally, the solar modules can be put into place one after the other. The costs of a photovoltaic system depend on the module technology and are less than €5,000 per kilowatt. Once the solar modules have been attached to the framing system, they're wired up and connected.
The string cables which come from the roof are screwed onto a circuit breaker, and from there they go into the inverter. The inverter then converts the direct current into alternating current and feeds it into the grid.
We don't directly use the electricity which we generate with the photovoltaic system, but instead it's received by the utility company and paid for accordingly. Right now, with this photovoltaic system, we receive a remuneration of almost 47 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's legally guaranteed for a period of 20 years. But the beauty in a photovoltaic system like this one is that it's completely maintenance-free.
With a 20-year performance warranty from Sharp, such systems often generate impressive yields. Depending on the system size and location, they already pay for themselves in about 15 years.
When the system is finally connected to the grid, it is satisfying to watch the meter turning in your favor, unlike before, when it was working against you.
Guys, that was probably, I don't think you can have a steeper pitch on a roof. I mean, I really don't. And I'm sure that the reason why they have such a steep pitch is they probably have a lot of snow. So, you know, you have to have that pitch when you have the snow load. But, I mean, I don't think you're going to find many roofs around like that. But did you notice the one thing that they had that I've never seen in all the solar, in all the solar that we've shown, I've never seen somebody use one of those glass suction cups. You saw the guy walking up the ladder with the glass. I mean, hey, you know, Ross Solar, I don't know if you guys use them or not, but if you don't, head down to the glass store, get one, because it's gotta help. All right, now the next clip is gonna be from England. That's right, England's getting behind solar, and this is what they're teaching. And watch how watch about the safety, how important the safety is, and watch what they talk about with walking around with the solar, and they didn't have one of those glass things. But anyway, John, hit it.
Photovoltaic systems are predicted to become a dominant source of energy in the 21st century. So it is going to be big. And you're getting your foot in at the bottom of the ladder to make sure you're there ready to run with it when it does really pick up. People come on these courses, these PV courses, and they seem to have read a lot about it before they come on the course. I think it's because people are interested in PV. They want to know about it. We're going to go up and have a look at the modules on the roof. I'm going to show you a few demos of what you will be doing when you do the course. We're then going to go out and have a look at the PV bay, discuss the inverters, the modules, and answering any questions that you have out there as well. Everything you do is slow and calculated. So from this point, I go up, I'm going 3 contact. You move that up. And continue up to the top, right. So at this point, you want to start thinking about making yourself comfortable. You're not going to fall off because you've got this there. I'm going to transfer onto that temporary anchor point now. I've got my temporary lanyard, which I'm going to fix onto here. In actual fact, because I'm facing the other way, I'm going to put that back onto there because I'm going to be facing that way. So I've got my temporary anchor point onto that point there. Now, it should be quite safe to release that because I'm not going to go far. If I did fall, I've got that. Okay, so from that point, you're then safe to work on the modules. Information on the back of the module. Some of them have the weight on the back, and I want to have a lift of that. Put it down again carefully. So you're on a roof, tethered up with an apple in your mouth, lifting these around. Yeah, so you know it's okay there. All right, now start walking with it. Now start trying to put it onto a roof. It starts to get a bit cumbersome with 400 quid's worth of module. There is some mind-blowing technology coming along. that will revolutionise PV as we know it. It's like, do you remember when computers first came out, then laptops? Well, you're always waiting, thinking, well, I'll buy one next year when they bring out the next one. Well, yeah, okay, they bring out the next one, within 6 months it's out of date again. How long do we wait? How long are you going to wait before you start pushing this and get on the ladder? We've got to start.
"20 seconds. Camera 3. "10.
You know, guys, it's so true when it comes to solar. How long are you going to wait? You know, the time is now. Don't forget, Solarize Brookfield, they're taking a 7,000 kilowatt system, which normally retails for $31,000, and the prices come all the way down to $13,000. If that's not enough reason to get you to buy, I don't know what more you need. You know what I mean? They've made it so enticing to go ahead with this. And don't forget, you know, we want you to be a capitalist. It's that simple. Now, we're going to get closer to home, and we're going to show you a training center in North Carolina. And guys, it's just regular people that are electricians and people that are in similar fields that are learning about solar. So John, hit it.
The Solar Center has offered renewable energy workshops since we've begun, but they were usually 3-day workshops, and most of the folks who attended were people who were interested in putting solar in their homes. And so there was the thought that in order to move renewable energy forward and really make an industry out of it, we needed to offer it to professionals. And those people who would be interested in taking it would need not just 3 days of training, but a series of workshops for them to feel comfortable to be part of this industry. And so in 2004, the Renewable Energy Technologies Diploma Series was born.
There are 3 courses, one on solar electric, solar thermal, and wind. Each of the courses are 5 days in length. We also have a Green Building Diploma Series where we look at strategies for residential and commercial design. They're geared for professionals. We offer credits for architects, for professional engineers, for lead APs, and electrical contractor credits for those in North Carolina.
We're standing under this training roof that's about 3 years old. It's a place where we can poke holes in the roof, mount all our racks, assemble our modules, wire up and send everything down all this equipment here and fire up a live system. So it's just like you would experience in a real job site.
Well, I get a lot of very positive feedback on our training programs. People that are either in industry, roofing industry, plumbing industry, electrical industry, that feel like we've brought them into a new field that's allowed them to really diversify their business and their offerings that they have for consumers. I also get a lot of feedback from folks that are new to the industry that take our courses as a way to kind of start to climb a learning curve and find their way into this industry. And they find that it gives them a great opportunity to not only learn skills that are necessary to do this, but to network and to meet others that are in this field to help them start to build the network that they need to effectively enter this industry.
10 seconds.
Now, guys, did you hear what he had to say? They give not degrees, but they give certificates to architects. Now think about that for a minute. From now on, when people are going to start building their homes, they're going to start building their homes in the orientation of the sun. And architects and everybody else has got to start to get with the program. And you'll see subdivisions, the streets and subdivisions will be run so that the houses get the most benefit from the sun. You mark my words. All right, now, if you want to learn how to do all this stuff, you probably want to learn in the nicest surroundings available, and that's in Colorado. So guys, when you want to send your electricians and the other people in your organization, when you want to send them away to learn about solar, this is the place you want to send them to. It's a nice week's getaway where they can learn. So John, hit it.
A classroom can be much more than desks and chairs surrounded by four walls. Imagine a classroom where the walls are replaced with hundreds of miles of majestic mountain ranges. A classroom where the clean mountain air and bright warmth of the sun fuels each day of learning. Imagine a classroom where after a full day of renewable energy training, you can study spinology and the force of gravity, or extracurricular activities in hydrology and the movement of water. Or just relax after a long day in the classroom by wetting a line in a great trout stream.
30 seconds, camera 2.
Imagine a classroom in Colorado's Rocky Mountains where the produce is fresh, the wine is epic, and the beer is cold. When it comes to embracing all that renewable energy has to offer,
20
Solar
seconds.
Energy International's Paonia and Carbondale campuses are a perfect destination. Your renewable energy education begins here in Colorado. Your future begins at solarenergy.org.
I'd love to increase my knowledge of solar. I'll go. Can you imagine telling your boss, hey boss, I want to learn about solar. Can you send me out to Colorado? And the idea is he's going to say yes, but I'm going with you. Okay. Hey guys, I tell you, when it comes to solar, when it comes to renewable energy, you ain't seen nothing yet. You know, we hired 6 people so far. We're just playing games. All right, now we're going to go into a little more detail from the Solar International in Colorado. So John, show us more.
I chose SEI because of their history in solar. They've got a very strong background in it. I respect the people that work for SEI, and that's part of SEI. And I just had the confidence, if I took the class through SEI, that I would get the knowledge I wanted.
I've always been interested in electricity and renewable energy especially. I like the idea of being green, and I especially like SEI's workshop course. Paonia is a beautiful location, and the instructors are all fantastic, as well as the resources here.
My initial class with SEI was a gateway into a new career, and they've continued to help me become more educated and more professional.
My name is David Ainscoe. I'm taking a battery-based training at Solar Energy International. It's been a very good course, and especially has a lot of hands-on stuff, so if you learn that way, I think it's been a great course.
I'm Tyson White. I'm from Bend, Oregon. I think it'd be really cool to see kids my age coming out here, early 20s, and really getting a hold of what you guys have to offer. My first class with SEI was the PV 101. I figured instead of going to college, this was kind of a better fit for me. I'm more hands-on. Overall, I think SEI has been really, really beneficial to me. I might take some other classes for design. I've really gotten a lot out of these classes. It's just really cool. It's a neat place to check out.
A lot of the instructors and including the staff really emphasize safety along with the skills.
SEI offers a lot. I came here for 2 weeks and had a great time doing lab classes in both grid-tied and battery-based systems.
My name is Chris Turek, the Director of Online and Educational Services for Solar Energy International. Many of the students that you see here behind me actually completed their prerequisite courses by taking an online course from Solar Energy International. They have the flexibility to go through the content at their own pace.
The online 1 minute, camera 3. Because I had an option. It was pretty much at my fingertips 24/7.
The online courses helped as a prerequisite by just giving me a real good base knowledge of what was going on.
What's really great about our online courses is the fact that we have real live instructors behind the content, teaching the students every day, day in and day out.
The instruction was fantastic. Any questions that I had, the instructors were quick to get back to me. Very, very good about explaining it out and making sure that I understood.
I prefer hiring SEI graduates, and actually when we've hired them, we've actually provided training for them for the other advanced classes.
You know, if you're excited about solar, you can go a long ways here.
It was a good experience overall. I learned a lot. There were a lot of nice people. So I had a great time. I definitely would recommend Solar Energy International.
Ten, 9, 8.
Guys, you know, I didn't realize that they offer professional certificates, and they also have online courses. So you know what? Now you're going to say, well, Rich, why didn't you find out about it and tell us about it? Guys, I only found out about this about 3 hours ago, so give me a break, you know? But I'm going to look into it, and I think I'm going to sign up, because I'll tell you, it's all about knowledge. The more you learn, the better off you are. All right, now, the next clip is about women in solar. And you're going to say, Rich, what is it with the women? And I believe in equal rights. Firm and square and equal rights. And I believe that women should earn exactly the same amount of money as men do. And girls, if you want to earn more than a living wage, if you don't mind working on roofs, if you think you can handle it, this might be your cup of tea. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be being a cashier or working as a waitress. You know, this is something where you can do something where 10, 20 years from now, you can look back and you could say, I did that. I made that happen. I built that. All right, so now we're going to show you a way that women can play a bigger role in solar. John, hit it.
Hi, my name is Laura Walters. I've worked with SEI since 2006. I got into solar when I was really young, and I kind of came at it from more of an educational background with teaching about renewable energy, but I didn't really have the hands-on skills to do installation work, and that's what I've really always wanted to do. So I came to SEI to get that experience, and I decided to take the women's class because I thought it would be a great opportunity to learn in an environment that I felt really comfortable in. The women's classes are super supportive. One of the things I was really self-conscious about was I didn't know much about how to use tools or the names of all the tools, and I didn't want to be worried about that when I wanted to be focused on learning about as much as information as I could absorb about solar energy. So that's one of the main reasons that I took the women's class, and I'm so glad that I did, because not only did it provide that kind of an opportunity for me, but it also gave me an incredible networking experience, because all of the women's classes, I took both women's and co-ed classes from SEI, and all the women's classes I actually stayed in contact with the people afterwards. We've helped out on different projects with each other, and it was better than I could have expected. And so I really, really highly recommend taking the women's class if you're wanting to get into this industry. It is a heavily male-dominated industry, and that can be intimidating
20 seconds, camera 2.
But to have a group of supportive women to help you out when you're learning about solar and getting into the industry is a really great way to do it.
10.
You'll have to get in the middle.
Guys, you know, Judy, our floor manager, just brought up an excellent point. She said a lot of women in the service are coming back. And I tell you, what better place to put them than in the safety of your roof? I mean, where the only thing they got to worry about is falling off. And I mean, they've already paid their service. They you know what I mean? And we, you know, this is something where where the vets can have a good living wage job, where 20 to 30 years from now they can retire with dignity. This ain't hard, guys. You know, it's going to take a big effort, but you know, we got to put the money in the right place, and that's why with the next clip, we're going to show you why the money is going in the wrong place. And where is it going? To the corporate coffers instead of to the people. And you're going to say, oh, Rich, you with the people, and you got to give the people the money. And yeah, that's what we got to do. We have to be socially responsible. It's really simple. It's like anything else in life, you know? You always got to pay the piper. So let's, you know, if we're going to hear the music, if we want to hear the tunes, if we're going to pay the piper, let's tell them what tunes to play. We got to change the business models. And Jon Stewart is going to show you in a very humorous way that the business models are broken and they need to be fixed. And we can't let these guys get away with this, because if you're going to move away from America, guess what? Take everything with you. And then don't come looking for us later to bail you out, because we're done with that. That stuff's over. So, John, let's start with the Jon Stewart clip. And guys, this, you ain't going to be happy, but it's the truth. Hit it.
But tonight I'd like to talk to you about corporations. Corporations. They're a lot like us. Immortal. Shielded from liability. Accountable only to shareholders. Oh wait, that's the opposite of us. Sorry. But there's one thing corporations do have in common with the rest of us. They don't like paying taxes. Hate it. Fortunately, they rarely have to. It's the subject of tonight's... Oh, that's not. No, that's... I did not approve this, and I feel that this is disrespectful in some ways. It's about investigating. Okay, that I don't. Well, let's go with the first one, and then we'll just. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, this season's hot new tax loophole for corporations, a once obscure tax dodge known as the corporate inversion, which sounds like the business equivalent of gender reassignment, and it kind of is. It's a liberating procedure for companies that have been raised American, but know in their hearts they're really Irish.
Tax inversions, that's where companies reincorporate overseas simply to cut their U.S. tax bills.
A company buys a foreign subsidiary and then through the magic of paperwork proclaims itself now to be a foreign company and owned by the subsidiary.
At the beginning of the day, you're an American company. At the end of the day, you're an Irish company.
So it's like St. Patrick's Day for corporations. Except instead of beer, they vomit profit. Corporate inversion is a win-win for everyone. And by everyone, I mean only the corporations and their shareholders. Congress estimates that inversions will cost the Treasury $19.5 billion over 10 years. But Fortune magazine believes that that estimate is way low, because Fortune magazine is a communist rag. How do we stop inversion?
President Obama will support anti-inversion legislation. Legislation would mandate that companies must be more than 50% owned by a foreign entity to escape U.S. taxes.
Well, that sounds reasonable, and if President Obama is backing that law, it's probably a done deal. Just out of curiosity, though, for giggles here, where does the Republican Party stand?
We have the highest corporate tax rate in the world.
Our tax code, which is what's causing a lot of these inversions.
In a way, these companies are economic refugees.
Oh, well, if they're refugees, why don't we just stick to our normal policy and send them back to where they came from? Oh, wait, that's here! But obviously, bestowing refugee status on multi-billion-dollar corporations attempting to maximize profit through globalized tax evasion is entirely appropriate. Let's meet one of these poor corporate waifs. Pennsylvania's Mylan Pharmaceutical. No, that's an actual refugee, actually. That's, well, you know what? Let's refugee up the logo a little bit, and then we can, okay, great, that's nice. Where is this poor corporation seeking asylum?
This month, Mylan announced that it would incorporate in the Netherlands as part of a tax inversion deal.
Poor generic drug company. Life was so bad for Mylan in the U.S. that it decided to go from Pennsylvania Dutch to just plain Dutch. Well, here are some of the terrible conditions that Mylan faced in their home country. Millions of dollars in oppressive tax credits for things like economic opportunity, for things like industrial expansion, for things like manufacturing investment, for research and development, for something called strategic research and development, which is apparently a whole different thing than regular research and development. We're running out of room. Super credits against business franchise taxes, super credits against corporate net taxes, even a tax credit for rehabilitating an historic building. Yes. Taxpayers gave a multi-billion-dollar generic boner pill company money to artificially prop up an aging structure long past the point that nature meant for it to collapse to rubble. By the way, if that building stands for more than 4 hours, you may want to call your architect. But along with tax credits, the oppressive American regime also forced Mylan to accept $3 billion in sales from just the VA since 2009. Although since it's the VA, I assume those were for ailments from the 90s. Now, we know how conservatives feel about individuals who take advantage of government programs they're legally entitled to.
Remember the Serper dude lives on food stamps, uses your tax dollars to eat lobster?
This guy is a parasite. Just because you can take advantage of a system doesn't mean that you should. True. And I wonder where his parents are.
I believe it's the Netherlands. Well, all right, if that's how you feel about people who take too much advantage of entitlements, how do you feel about corporations who, on a much larger scale and through morally dubious yet entirely legal means, over the United States government while still enjoying all the infrastructure and security benefits said government provides?
The company is more competitive when it puts its legal headquarters overseas. It makes no sense for them to pay a higher tax bill if they can avoid it.
They have a fiduciary obligation to their shareholders.
Abbott Labs CEO Miles White says essentially this is legal. Kudos to him for standing up as a CEO and taking a stand. You don't often see that.
Oh, kudos! You so rarely see for douchebags like that defending the policies that make their companies profitable. It's like seeing a unicorn. Stupid unicorns always eating your garbage at night, scurrying all over the subway, spreading disease and pestilence. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm being told I'm thinking of rats. That's rats. I always confused rats with unicorns. It's probably why my daughter's birthday party was such a disaster.
1:30.
Wow. Look at my lean body. Dressed in my trademark jeans. When does this end? When? I say, getting back to the bit. We are constantly giving in to every demand and whim of corporations. And yet they're still not satisfied. They'll never be satisfied. Mylan was paying an effective tax rate in the United States of 16.2% in 2013.
1 minute, camera one.
Rather than the 35% corporate tax rate that there is. They were enjoying enormous government contracts, the benefits of our NIH research and development, and it's still not enough. They just want and want and want with no concern for, wait a minute. When was the Citizens United decision? That was 2010, right? That explains it. Corporations have only been people for like 4 years. They're toddlers. And by giving in every time they throw a tantrum and threaten to run
30 seconds,
home,
camera one.
We're spoiling these bastards. If we're not careful, these corporations will grow up feral and turn into something even worse.
20.
If we don't start telling corporations no, they're going to just end up peeing in buckets and trying to sneak monkeys into Germany. Maybe it's time to tell
10.
corporations, if you want to live under our roof, you play by our rules. So no, Mylan, you can't go to Holland. You're grounded. We'll be right back.
Guys, can you believe that corporations would do this? They would just sell out. I mean, can you believe this? I mean, is profit that important? You know, where you want to deny? You know, don't forget. You know, they're still using our roads. They're still using our electric grid, the telephones. They're using they're using all the benefits. and they don't want to pay for it. Geez, I wonder if the Koch brothers have anything to do with this. But let's take it one step further, and let's look at Charles Payne on Fox, and I want you to understand what he talks about maximizing profits, and I love the one term they come up with. This is like the old screwball, you know, where they use a different term just to throw off the simple folk. Joey! Joey! I forgot Joey. Hey, Joey, let me back on his website and share. Or Charlene is her actual name. You know, she's not going to be happy with that woman's right clip because she thinks that women should be paid 77% of what a man gets. But anyway, let's get back to so they used the term a fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary? How often do you hear somebody says, how are your fiduciaries today? Do you hear people using that type of language? No, the only time you hear it is in Congress. All right, now let's show let's show Fox's side of this event. John, hit it.
Well, is the president teeing up to knock businesses back down? Word is he's got another executive order in his pocket to punish companies he deems are unpatriotic, those that set up overseas to save money on taxes, and they say save jobs. To Fox Business Network's Charles Payne and Lizzie McDonald, who have a real problem with that if the president were to do it. Democratic consultant Jessica Ehrlich, who doesn't have a huge problem with it. Charles, what does he want to do? He wants to stop those that take advantage of this inversion thing.
Yeah, he would like to use an executive order to stop this. As you pointed out in the tease, it's perfectly legal, and I think he scored a huge victory today when the CEO of Walgreens, they made an acquisition of a foreign company. They had an opportunity to do inversion. Instead, they said, no, we won't. Consequently, the company today lost almost $10 billion in value.
Is that right?
And subsequently would lose billions of dollars in profits that they did not have to pay. So essentially, the CEO of Walgreens destroyed capitalism, shareholder rights. He not only blinked, he gave the president so much ammunition. And I'm telling you, I hope he's not standing side by side when the president makes this announcement, but the president will bring up Walgreens doing the patriotic thing. Instead, it was one of the most shameful moves I've seen a CEO do in a long time.
Sounds like the guy folds it like a cheap suit then, Lizzie.
Yeah, and the thing
You know, I wonder what they pay him at Fox. What does it take to buy somebody like him? What does it take? What do they pay him? You know, and he would tell you anything. He's the type of guy that tell you Santa Claus is real, and he knows exactly where he lives, and he's been to his place. This is the type of people that we're dealing with. And you saw what he said. The CEO of Walgreens tried to destroy capitalism. He tried to destroy, he destroyed the shareholders' rights. Guys, the shareholders' rights, you know, what about the people that work for the corporation? Don't they have rights? Don't they have a right to a living wage? Does everything have to go to the 1%, to the Koch brothers, you know? And if you want to be a capitalist, Charles Payne, if you want to be a capitalist, why don't you put solar panels on your roof? These are the new cards I had made up, guys, so that you could take advantage of the free market. That's right, what you guys on Fox are always screaming about, the free market. The free market always knows, and you could start saving with sunshine. Solar panels create trickle-down economics. How often do you hear that on Fox? They create trickle-down economics, and when you redistribute wealth, that's right, you redistribute it into your own pocket. You eliminate uncertainty. How many times have we heard on, oh, we got to eliminate uncertainty. We got to cut the taxes of the rich people so they're not uncertain. Yeah, so we could pay for it, sure. So we're going to eliminate uncertainty and become a job creator. All the talking points you hear on Fox constantly. By putting solar panels on your roof, you achieve all those things. Become a creationist. The fundamentalists will love this. Generate electricity, become a creator. We got all the bases solved. The only thing you need to know about solar is how much money you can make each month and how much money it'll save you. All right, now, the next clip, we're going to go to Elizabeth Warren, and she's going to show you a senator's viewpoint of what's going on with inversion. And guys, when she gets done, she's going to give them the old bada bing. So John, hit it.
Madam President, our tax code is tilted toward the rich and the powerful. Huge corporations hire armies of lobbyists and lawyers to create, expand, and protect every last corporate loophole. That's how we end up with a tax code that makes small businesses and restaurants and construction companies pay, that makes teachers and truck drivers and nurses pay, but that allows huge American corporations to make billions of dollars in profits and not pay a single dime in taxes. The tax code is rigged. Apparently, even this rigged game doesn't go far enough for some corporations. Those companies taking advantage of a new move, a loophole that allows them to maintain all of their operations in America, but claim foreign citizenship so they can cut their U.S. taxes even further. Tax lawyers call this process a corporate inversion, but don't let the bland name fool you. These companies are renouncing their American citizenship, turning their backs on this country simply to boost their profits. They are taking advantage of all the good things that our government helps provide: educated workers, roads and bridges, a dependable court system, patent and copyright protection, and then running out on the bill. If a person did that, we call them a freeloader. We'd insist they pay their fair share. And that's exactly what our tax laws do for people who renounce their American citizenship. For a person who doesn't want to pay a fair share, our message is clear. You can renounce your citizenship, but don't come back and expect the rest of us to pick up the tab. But we don't do that for corporations. Corporations can renounce their American citizenship and make absolutely clear in legal documents that they're doing it to avoid their U.S. tax obligations and not suffer any consequences. In this corner of the tax code, we've gone way past treating corporations like people. In this corner of the tax code, we're treating corporations better than people. That's not right. That's why I've teamed up with Senator Levin and more than a dozen of our Democratic colleagues to introduce the Stop Corporate Inversions Act. The bill is simple. It allows American corporations to renounce their citizenship only if they truly give up control of their company to a foreign corporation and truly move their operations overseas. President Obama and Secretary Lew have spoken out in favor of the proposal. I commend their leadership, and I join them in urging the Senate to pass this bill right away. But the administration doesn't need to wait for Congress. It can use its existing authority to slow down and reduce the attractiveness of these sham inversions right now. America is a great place to do business because of the investments we have made together. In Massachusetts and across this country, we invest in public education in our colleges and universities, producing millions of skilled workers. We invest in infrastructure, in our roads and bridges and ports, making it easier for our companies to move their products across the country and beyond. We invest in scientific and medical research, giving our companies access to the most innovative and cutting-edge technologies. We invest together to make America a place where any kid will have a chance to come up with an idea and turn it into the next great American corporation. The companies that are pursuing these corporate inversions know all of this. That's why they are not actually leaving America behind. They just don't want to pay for it. Our achievements aren't magic. They didn't simply happen on their own or through dumb luck. America works, our government works, our democracy works, because we all pitch in and do our part to build the things that none of us can build alone, the things that give everyone
30
a chance
seconds,
to
camera
succeed.
one.
If these companies want to leave all that behind, well, that's their right. But if they exercise that right, if they leave
20.
America behind, then they shouldn't get to turn around and claim all the privileges of being an American company. We've had
10 seconds, camera
of
one.
rich corporations taking whatever they want and expecting everyone else to pick up the pieces. The time for freeloading is over.
Guys, did you hear what she had to say? It's time to build these things, to invest in these things. And, you know, why the conservatives and the Republican Party would rather give the profits to the shareholders instead of the people, it's beyond me. I mean, I just don't understand it. And you could keep talking to me until you're blue in the face. I don't think I'll ever understand it. I'm just not that type of person. I don't think I'm greedy enough. I'm not greedy enough. You know, I want to see people get paid properly, a living wage for what they do. All right, now the next clip, we're going to prove to you, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that Fox News is not fair and balanced. And we're going to prove it to you by letting the chief Foxstitute, Bill O'Reilly, tell you in his own words how Fox is unfair and not balanced. So, John, hit it.
Okay. Second letter, Ed Ortelli, Monroe, Louisiana. I'm aggravated when I see smug liberals like Kirsten Powers and Alan Colmes on the air. Enough already with these leftists. Well, look, fair and balanced is a Fox News motto, Ed. If the liberal view were not represented, we'd be liars, so that's ridiculous. But what I wanted to know is how many of our contributors do lean left?
Yeah, so we have 19 left-leaning contributors. Those would include the likes, out of quite a lot, but a lot of our contributors are military contributors,
they don't
medical
have
experts,
ideology.
all of that. So we're just talking about the political ones. There are 19 liberals, including Bob Beckel, who of course is also a host here. Evan Bayh, Pat Caddell, James Carville, but then the rest of our guests that we have on who are not paid contributors, such as Wesley Clark, you had on earlier in the show, Austin Goolsbee, the president's economic guru, you have him on a lot, so we have a mix of both, yeah.
Okay, so we are fairly, in our commentary, balanced. We have much more on the left than, say...
10, camera 2.
I'm trying to think, you know, CNN... I don't know. But 19, okay?
Yep.
That's the number.
Yep, the paid ones.
Guys, you heard it in their own words. They had 19 paid contributors, liberal contributors at Fox. Now, on the Fox website, they have a total of 175 air personalities. That leaves 156 that can go either way. So really, 11% are liberal and 89% are conservative. Pretty fair and balanced, wouldn't you say? Just like when they have the 5 on at 5 o'clock. They have 4 conservatives and they have 1 liberal. That to Fox is fair and balanced. The fact that they even show the other side, they think it's balanced. All right, now, we are going to say one good thing about Fox. Fox did put on Cosmos. So we're going to run a quick clip, and Neil deGrasse Tyson will explain. So, John, hit it.
Welcome back to Reliable Sources. We all know we live in a politically divided country where almost anything is fair game for snipers on both sides. But science? Shouldn't science be immune from politics? After all, it's called scientific fact for a reason. And yet there are millions of climate deniers, evolution deniers, vaccine deniers out there. Last year in a speech on climate change, President Obama summed up the war on science this way.
I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Many Americans agree with him, but many other Americans see science as an attack on their values or on their religion or on what they believe to be true. Which brings me to my next guest. I am so excited he's here today. He may just be the man who can end the war on science. At least he's got a better chance than you or I have. He's Neil deGrasse Tyson, an astrophysicist and director of the Hayden Planetarium in New York. And tonight, Fox will be premiering his new series, Cosmos. Can you imagine a primetime network television show all about science? Pretty amazing. Neil, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
I want to talk all about Cosmos in a moment, but I first want to ask you, do you think there is a war on science the way I'm describing? And if so, how do you think we can broker a peace?
Our civilization is built on the innovations of scientists and technologists and engineers who have shaped everything that we so take for granted today. So some of the science deniers or science haters, these are people who are telling that to you while they're on their mobile phone. Okay? They're saying, I don't like science. Science is better. Oh, yeah, GPS just told us to go left. Yeah, okay. So so it's time for people to sort of sit back and reassess what role science has actually played in our lives and note and learn how to embrace that going forward, because without it, we will just regress back into the cave.
Cosmos seems like an example of using television, using
1
the
minute,
media
camera
for
two.
good, when it comes to science. I talked recently on this program about climate change and how there aren't two equal sides when it comes to climate change, and yet sometimes the television and the media pretends it is that way. What responsibility do you think members of the media have to portray science correctly?
Yeah, I think the media has to sort of come out of this ethos that I think was in principle a good one, but it doesn't really apply in science. The ethos was whatever story you give, you have to give the opposing view.
30 seconds, camera two, get ready to wave goodbye.
In the clip that you showed of the president, you don't talk about the spherical Earth with NASA in it and then say, oh, now let's give equal time to the flat earthers. Plus, science is not there for you to cherry pick. You know, I said this once, and it's gotten a lot of internet play. I said the good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it. All right, I guess you can decide whether or not believe in it, but that doesn't change the reality of an emergent scientific truth.
Guys, there is hope for Fox, and listen what he said at the end. Science is true, whether you believe it or not. It's factual, whether you believe it or not. So guys, we'll see you next week. Next week we're going to talk about President Obama, and he's going to give a bunch of people the old bada bing. See you then.